We actually met, believe it or not, at a singles event. So ladies, I really don't understand. If I'm able to pick up a guy at a singles event, you should be able to pick up guys at singles events as well. And what happened, and you were there to actually witness it, there was a lady on the Zoom who literally went berserk and is like, I hate it when guys open doors for me. I'm like, you are proving my point. This is exactly the problem that's going on.
It's funny because I tell people, like, nowadays, I tell guys nowadays, it's really not that hard to be a quality person. All you need is steady job, decent income, you keep the job, you wake up every morning, you have like a normal life, moderately healthy, moderately good looking, you're like okay, and you know, you're doing all that stuff. You're already in like the top 90%.
Sarah and Max, an unlikely pair in this wild podcast. They're the perfect flair. Sarah charms, so feminine and free. A Cali girl spirit under the podcast tree. Max a strong force with a punch in every word. Together they navigate the dating absurd. Don't forget to hit subscribe, join the crew for more laughs and tales just for you. Now back to the show.
All right, and welcome back to another great edition of Good for Shidduchim. I am your host, Max Landisman. Fortunately, we don't have my co-host, Sarah, with us. She's taking care of a kid, besides for myself. But we have a special guest, Shalom Patterson. We actually met, believe it or not, at a singles event. So, ladies, I really don't understand. If I'm able to pick up a guy at a singles event, you should be able to pick up guys at singles events as well. But he seemed like a cool guy. He had a lot of interesting things to say. So welcome to the podcast, Shalom Patterson.
Thanks for having me. I've been a fan since my friend Gavi told me about your podcast, like, I don't know, a year and a half ago or something, like early on. He's like,
much appreciated. Yeah, like when we were doing the event, when it was your turn to speak, you're like, first off, I'm a huge fan. I'm like, wow. I'm like, you know, thank God. See, having a podcast about Shidduchim is good for Shidduchim.
There we go.
So,
there we go. Yeah, man, you're successful, man. You're an influencer, a voice in the marketplace.
Oh, please, you're making me blush. But you were there to witness. Remember when at the end of the event, it was at the end of the event, there was like 10 of us that stood up after. It was on Zoom. And I mentioned this story about how I went to go open a door for a girl, and she got all mad at me, and she's like, I'm a strong, independent woman. I can open my own door. And what happened, and you were there to actually witness it, there was a lady on the Zoom who literally went berserk and is like, I hate it when guys open doors for me. I'm like, you are proving my point. This is exactly the problem that's going on.
Yes.
So Shalom as my witness. That actually did happen.
Yes, that happened. It was the perfect. It was totally
unscripted. Like I was totally not expecting that at all. But yeah.
She's like, I am that girl. Please keep the doors closed.
Yep.
Stand aside.
I did try to reach out and try together, but to no avail, unfortunately. But anyways, Shalom, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a little bit about your background and where you're at today.
My name's Shalom Patterson. I'm a Lower East Sider, original, and I live in Muncie these days. I did the opposite of everybody else. I left the city.
Baruch Hashem.
I ran away. Yes.
I knew you were smart, man.
Dude, I needed to get out of parking, driving, and just. I think what clinched it for me, like I wanted to touch grass. I wanted to like see like deer and like little critters every so often, you know, even if it's a skunk. I'm just like, you know, there's life. And then I think like what clinched it for me was when I saw somebody 60 something years old who was still hustling in Brooklyn. And I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I don't want to be that guy. Like I don't see any difference, you know. He has a family, he has the whole thing, he's got the whole deal, but he's still hustling. I'm like, okay, yeah. So I made my exodus from from Brooklyn and the city and whatever, all of that, and just to get a little bit more suburban.
Right. So
Um,
you were born and raised in Brooklyn and then moved into the city,
no, I was born and raised in the Lower East Side,
Lower East Side.
and then
Damn, you're
I
old
was there
school.
for yes,
You're old school.
yes. I moved out of there. I moved to live in Brooklyn for a bit. I was working in Brooklyn, so it just made sense. And then at a certain point, I just had enough. I had enough living in the East Side. I had enough living in Brooklyn. I was just not, I mean, I love the Lower East Side, but if you're going to own a car and drive a car, like I've always had to do, every job I've had, I've always needed to have a car. Yeah, it's just not, it's not fun times.
Yeah, and based on your WhatsApp photo, you look like you have a nice car, so that's pretty awesome.
Uh,
But yeah,
used to,
yeah.
yes.
But was there ever an inkling to move to the Upper West Side or any of those places?
I've been tempted to do it. I've been tempted to do it for a long time, just because of social. Like Muncie's nice, and there's some nice people here. You have to make a special effort to have something going on. You have to find your places and like put in the effort to make sure that there are things happening and that you keep things happening. Um, in terms of like just like a natural baked situation that's has everything you want. Like Upper West Side has got loads of people. It's got things happening. It's very tempting from that perspective. Teaneck is also a little bit tempting. I heard that you guys have some things going on. I don't
We
know if
do,
this is
we
true.
do, we
Yeah.
do. You're always invited to come and check it out for Shabbos.
Oh, I'd love to. I would. Yeah, I would check it out. Yeah, so like those aspects are what's attractive over there. But I don't know if I have the same attitude like you to the Upper West Side, but I do feel like my impression is that people get trapped there for
Mm,
years. And I kind of want to find a wife. I want to exit the single scene. I just want to
right,
get the woman, tie her
right,
down.
right.
I'll do Islamic style. We'll chain her to
All
the
right.
oven.
A little extreme, but yeah, okay. Whatever's good for Shidduchim.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Listen, I want the wife. I want the kids. I want the house. I want to be done with it. Whatever it takes. Okay.
yeah,
She can chain me up if that makes the relationship work.
right. So essentially, you're like, well, I actually want to get married, so I don't think the Upper West Side is kind of going to work.
Yeah, kind of. And
Yeah.
I do get a feeling of like temporariness from some people over there. Like when I
Mm.
was getting involved with singles over there, like kind of like they'll like date this guy, they'll date that guy, they'll go here or there. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know anything about it. I was there once or twice for Shabbos, and
No, but yeah, it's definitely curious to get your take on it because you're like a fresh perspective. Like I'm already so far gone removed that I'm so anti the Upper West Side. So it's like one thing coming from me, it's another thing coming from you. So it's
okay.
interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I found people are nice. They're friendly. Um, I don't know, there's attractive single girls over there. They have Shabbos meals. Everybody's like, just come, come here, come there, whatever. Just like,
Hmm.
get
Hmm.
involved. Yeah, that's pretty much.
So were you social over there? Like, did you go up to somebody and say hello and things of that nature, and everything seemed fine?
Yeah, I I was by Kiddush, whatever. Talked to a few people. I went to a couple meals. Random
It's,
conversations.
it sounds like you like it.
Yeah, I do. It doesn't take much for me to like a good place. Yeah, it was nice. I didn't have much to complain about.
It's no bad experience. Okay,
No, yeah.
all right. So like, you really wouldn't consider moving there?
I don't know. Like even if the people are nice and there's a good experience there, I'm like afraid that what traps you is the good times. If I go
Interesting.
there, yeah,
Interesting.
like if I go there and every other, there's loads of girls to date and like, nobody's settling down and, you just,
That's an interesting take. Yeah, you're saying like you're kind of trapped in a certain, well, you're having so much fun, quote unquote. Where you're like, why would I get married if you're
yeah,
just doing this? If you're just kind of going out and doing all your things and spending time with friends and whatever, then there's no incentive to get married. Is essentially what you're saying?
yeah, like I have nothing pushing me. I mean,
That's
I
interesting.
might
Yeah.
be, I might be totally wrong. I'll be honest with you.
Well,
I do lots of
you're
things for
entitled to your
that.
opinion.
Yeah, I do lots of things for that reason. I'm not sure how right I am.
That's
I
okay.
think, I think I should be a little nicer to myself.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. So how's the dating life treating you? Am I allowed to ask like age range generally where you're
Of what
at?
I date,
Oh no, like
um,
like how old you are.
how old am I? I
Yeah.
am 34.
34. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So you've been dating for quite a while, correct?
Yeah, I've been dating, I guess, for 10 years. I started a little late, I guess 24. I
Oh
wasn't
no,
dating the whole
24.
time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been dating the whole time. I think I was like very serious and aggressive about it in the last 4 years or so, 3, 4 years.
Mm,
Like I was like, past a certain point, I'm done. I want to get moving.
yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like you've been dating for quite a while. Like how has that been so far?
Um,
Like what have you been seeing? Have you like for me, like I've been seeing a big shift in attitude of like how women treat men. And again, like I mentioned, again, the opening of the door thing, the being, I feel like a lot of girls say they want a chivalrous guy, but anytime you're actually chivalrous, they give you attitude. Like that's the kind of crap like I've been seeing. I'm not saying every girl is like that, but a nice percentage of them. I'm talking like 25%, just of the girls that I've dated. I'm just curious on what you've been seeing. Like, have you ever seen something like that, or has it generally been okay experiences?
so I'll say like rarely I'll get like the straight up feminist, like, I don't need you opening a door for me, sit down, man. Uh,
Right.
sometimes it's rare for me. I have been seeing a difference in, I think girls want more of what they want and are less apologetic. It's
Okay.
kind of like I'm gonna be entitled to this thing that I think is important, and just not, they don't see any other way about it. I don't know how to say it, right? I
Yeah.
guess like kind of entitled.
Can you be more
Um,
specific about that?
I don't know. It's interesting. It's kind of like they feel like they have the right to want what they want and no apologies for it. Like they're
Mm,
more out there. I feel like they're more out there. They're more insistent. They're more, they want what they want and they're not going to apologize for it. They're just like, this is how it is. This is, this is what's going to be. And, if you don't like it, you can,
then I'm okay by my own. I don't need you.
yeah, mostly. Yeah.
Like, could I throw something out there? And maybe you could tell me if this is kind of what you're on the grounds of. Essentially, it's like, well, I make 100,000, so my man needs to make at least 200,000. If he doesn't make at least 200,000, then I'm never dating a guy like that.
This I think is standard.
Standard.
Yes, I think I think that a lot of girls think this way. I think it's a weird thing. I really think it depends on how attractive a girl thinks she is. This is a
Right.
funny thing. I
Right. And
literally
I
think
mean,
it goes like that.
no, I definitely, I think in just the overall secular, just overall world view of just, I think social media, a girl posts one video. Dowie Newberg had a really funny thing of like bit about this, where it's like a girl can just take a small video of her just like posing for 3 seconds. She gets like 6 million likes. And he's like, I'm literally sweating my behind off trying to make jokes. And I barely get, and I get like, a few hundred likes. I just thought that was very fun. I thought it was very true too. It's like, if you're a girl, you don't need to do much. Just throw a picture up on there and you get like 1 million likes. So the validation there, it's I don't think any man can compete with that type of validation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. It is true. Unfortunately, it doesn't really lead to anything that they're going to really like long term. That's the truth. Unless you're going to be a social media influencer, or you're going to be a professional fake person your whole life, which is
right.
It's an actor. All these people, that's what they do, and that's their brand, and that's how they make money, and it's good for them. But for your average girl, she looks like a 10, an 11, for now, but does she want a life? Does she want to be a wife? Does she want to have kids? Like, it's not going to last. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, because a common complaint I get is like, there are no good men out there. And I think that's complete bull crap. Complete and utter bull crap. I go to events too. And, obviously I'm looking for a girl, but like, I talk to the guys also. Listen, I'll give it to them. There's always going to be weird people on both sides. But for the most part, there are good guys out there. There are a lot of good guys out there. I'm talking to one.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and I'm not trying to hit on you.
I got
out
there.
I'm not trying to hit on you either. But I'm just saying, like the concept of there's no good guys out there, I just don't buy into it.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I see guys at events, and I honestly would love to set them up. I do set it up sometimes, my friends or people, whatever it is. I see guys at events. I'm like, wow, these are quality guys. Or I have friends that like, they're quality people. Like, there's no reason they shouldn't, be tying the knot in 6 months. It's funny because I tell people I tell guys nowadays, it's really not that hard to be a quality person. All you need is steady job, decent income. You keep the job. You wake up every morning. You have like a normal life. You're moderately healthy, moderately good looking. You're like, okay. And, you're doing all that stuff. You're already in like the top 90%.
Yeah.
It's basically functional.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So why do you think there's such a big disconnect with why women feel like there's not enough good men out there when there obviously is?
Yeah, I don't know. I think in general our standards have gotten a lot higher. I think everybody just thinks that they need to have, I don't know, they're just the top of the top all the time. And especially with Shidduchim, you think you're signing a life sentence basically. So you want to have that kind of life that you think that you ought to have. I don't know. I think people, yeah, I don't think people want to compromise more today. I think it becomes like the world has become very intolerant. I think just like society wise, everyone just like expects, perfection, and anything less than perfection, and like, you're out. Like you don't count anymore. So I don't think it's anything different for the girls. Like, I mean, I don't think it's anything different for the guys either, to be honest. Like, I was thinking about this. I'll be honest, I was like prepping a little bit. I was nervous. This is my first, I guess,
You don't seem
official
nervous.
broadcast.
Yeah, you seem
A little less nervous. I was very nervous at the start. We're breaking the ice a little bit. All right, you'll forgive me. Yeah. So I mean, I think social media really puts it this way. With all the filters and with all the stuff that you see and the whole Instagram culture and like perfection is everywhere and all this stuff, none of these people are actually look like that. Like I met a single at a recent event somewhere, and she was very cute, around my age, but I go on her WhatsApp and it is like she looks like she's an 11. She looks like wow, like she came out of a fairy tale.
Right.
And so I think like that whole kind of like, and I think it has to do with politics as well. Just that focus on perfection and expecting it. And then if there is no perfection, now the new religion is like we throw them out, like you're dead, you're excommunicated, if you don't like hit the top. So everybody kind of starts to do that, and I see that with myself. I don't think it's necessarily something to do just with the girls. I think like I see that myself. Like I'll meet somebody, and if she's a little heavier than I'm like attracted to, or if she makes the wrong move. Like I've had like for a long time very high standards in regard to kind of I don't know how to say it, like attraction, a relationship. Basically, if she like shows disinterest in me for like a half a second, I'll X a girl out.
Hmm.
And I mean, I'm thinking about that, and just maybe I don't know, maybe it goes both ways. Maybe we're all Xing each other out just in half a second. We're not tolerant anymore. And people haven't changed, right? We're all the same. The model hasn't changed in the last 20 years, right? The same DNA is pumping out. So it really is a difference in attitude and perception. Maybe we're all just being very intolerant of each other,
Hmm.
and that's why people find it hard, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. No, this is an interesting take. Yeah. I remember I was interviewing Sipor Guggenheim. This is the episode before this one.
I just
And
listened to it, yeah.
oh, nice. What did you think?
I thought she's great. I thought she's spot on.
Yeah.
Like we should have 20 of her, and she'll set a lot of people in the
Set a lot
right
of people straight, right?
direction. Yes, and we'll have a
Yeah.
lot less shidduch crises, and there's no real shidduch crisis. I heard that already,
Right.
before, but we'll have a
Right.
lot less problems. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though when they talk about Shidduch crisis, everyone misquotes the actual study. And the reason I noticed because I interviewed the guy who made the actual study. And a lot of people quote it as, there's no Shidduch crisis. 98% of people get married. I'm like, first of all, in the study, it actually does not say anywhere 98%. That's number one. Number two, there's actually two different. It's not just a simple answer. For example, there's a modern Orthodox answer, and then there's a Yeshiva Orthodox answer, the Yeshivish world answer. So in the modern Orthodox answer, it's actually 90% get married. But what they don't tell you is that by the age of 40, so if someone's dating since they were 23 and they don't get married till 40, I do think that's a problem. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go ahead and extend it and say it's a crisis that there's not enough men or women. Nothing supports that. But however, in the Yeshiva Orthodox, I think this is really where they were trying to get at. 98% get married. Yeshiva Orthodox, there's a difference between men and women. 96% of men get married by the time they're 40. 94% of women get married by the time they're 40. So there's actually a 2% difference, which it turns out to be there are 50% more men at 40 than women. However, the actual total number is not that large. But I feel like people are misquoting things and saying, well, there's just no, like, I don't think they're really giving you the whole truth as to what this is. Is there, when they say Shidduch crisis, are there more men than women? There's no data that supports that. But like to just go and say like there's no issue at all is you're not being truthful, I feel like.
You're right. You're right. Taking too long, I think is a major thing. You're missing
Yeah.
out on life. You're missing out on children. You're missing out on
And
to
I think a lot of what you're discussing also is because again the study doesn't cover, and sorry for if I'm lecturing, but
no.
I
Go for it.
love bringing this up.
You
But
go. You go, Max. You go.
yeah. Yeah, the study doesn't cover why that is, but a lot of what she was saying, a lot of what you're saying does correlate with the actual results of the study of why people are getting married later. The standard has gotten insane. and it definitely can go on both sides. There's no question. But I think the main thing that I think is focused on is like it's always the guy's fault. And you know what? Sometimes it's not the guy's fault. Sometimes it's the girl's fault. And there's no question. Like, for example, I know I've gone on plenty of dates and I said the wrong thing. I didn't act according, whatever it is. I have a therapist I go to. I get advice. I ask my friends all the time, and they shoot me straight. Hey, did I really screw up here? And I try to better myself. But it can't go just one way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so, 100%. I think 100%. I've dated people. I've dated a girl that absolutely did not believe in self. There's nothing wrong here. This is perfect, you know.
Right. It's
I
what?
think, yeah. Go for
Do you
it.
have any top date? You have a top dating story maybe you can share? Because I'm just curious. I feel like you've been dating for a while. There's got to be something.
I don't know. We've had some crazy times. Not all of them I'm rather proud of. Some more proud than others. Some less so. Um, Crazy dating stories. Which one? Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't.
We can get back to it.
Yeah.
We can get back to it. Like anything that stands out or anything that's kind of funny if somebody did something. It's like I remember when
Yeah, go
go
for
ahead.
it.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
I don't know. I've had different times. I don't know if any of these stories are going to do me credit.
Oh, I don't know.
Truth. I've had times I went out with a girl that it's at different times in my career I've been very sensitive to certain topics. I went out with a girl that I felt was the type to use. She told me a story about her personal life that I realized like she's the type to use a person. And I just felt like
Sorry, did you say abusive person or use a person?
no, use.
Oh, use
Use.
people, like use people.
Yeah, like
She
use people
told
to
you
get
that?
things.
She told you
What?
that?
She told me a story about her personal life, like what she was doing with work, and it was like
Uh,
correlating to that and like the personality type. I said, I just told her like, I mean, I honestly believe it. If you're dealing with like a person who believes that they're literally modern egalitarian, they're exactly equal to men, they should take the man on the date and plan the date, pay for the date. Like if that's what you actually believe. So, anyways, so this girl is somewhat like that, and I got the feeling like she was like, is the type to use people. So I told her the next date, um, you're gonna you're paying for it, you're taking care of it, you're doing whatever. Bro, it was drama, so much drama in the place, in the pool
nice,
place. Yes. And
nice.
then she just like cut
Good
it.
for you. Good
Yes,
for
she
you.
cut it short in the middle of the date. She's like, if it's not for you, I spent 2 hours getting prepared for you. I'm like, okay, that's your interest. But I have to feel like you have buy-in. Like that was my whole thing. Like I need to feel like you actually want to be here. You're not just enjoying company with a good-looking guy and he takes you to places and buys you food and experiences and all that.
I I've had that. I've had that. Someone used me, and I was not happy about that. Where I'm really not into buying fancy dinners on the first date for obvious reasons. So I plan. There's just nothing in the area to do other than go out to eat. So I planned to go to a certain restaurant. I tried to call ahead and make a reservation. They didn't answer for whatever reason. So I figured I'd just show up. So when I got there, we were already talking for like 20 minutes and whatever. When I got there, the place was like boarded up. It's like they're doing construction or something. It's not even open. So there's literally like nowhere to go other than this fancy restaurant. So I'm like, you know what? I'm having a great time so far. I'll take her out to this nice place. Fine. So we go and we're legitimately like in my mind, I'm literally having like one of the best first dates of my life. I'm thinking like this is freaking phenomenal. Um, and just everything was going right. And we're talking all the way until we're the only ones left in the restaurant, and they're looking at the way I see the waiters and waitresses are looking to go home. So I'm like, why don't we wrap up? Let me take you home, and so they can close up. She's like, sure. Obviously she ordered. I said order whatever. She insisted on ordering desserts, etc. Fine. And again, up until this point, I'm thinking this is going so well. I don't really care. You want to order dessert? Great, fine. Then we got in my car, and I'm ready to take her home, and she just continues to talk. We talk in my car for 2 hours. So again, in my head, I'm like this is actually working. This is actually really, because it's not like I'm putting a lot of effort here. It's like it's like natural. And so then I drop her off, etc. Then I find out the next morning that she doesn't want to go out with me anymore. She didn't find me attractive. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
that's totally okay to not find me attractive and not want to go out again. However, don't order dessert and don't spend 2 hours in my car talking to me. And her response to that was, well, I wanted you to feel like you were getting your money's worth. I'm like, you're not a prostitute.
Yep.
And this person was a lot older than I was. And I'm like,
Oh, really?
there's a reason why. There's a reason why she's still single and older. I'm sorry. I do genuinely feel bad for a lot of women. There are a lot of women out there that are good women that really do want a husband and for whatever reason cannot find someone. However, you run into girls like this, and I have no sympathy for her because of stuff like that. But yeah, it's insane.
I hear you. I'll tell you one thing that we're not talking about, I think, is the other side of this crisis. I don't know, crisis. I guess we don't have to say crisis. I mean, like, the main thing is people aren't getting married when they want to. It's taking them a long time to get married. I think the other side of this is when they are married, how often they're divorcing.
It's a big problem.
We're totally ignoring the other side of the singles market, which I see a lot of, are these divorcees with a few kids. I don't know. They last 2 years, they last 6 months, they last a month, they last 5 years, they last 10 years. I think it's a big problem. You think so as well?
And why do you feel that's definitely a big problem? Why do you feel that that's what's going? Like, why is that happening?
Well, to be honest, I think it's really both the single market and, I mean, like, the never married people and the divorced people are, my opinion, my experience, with my friends, people that I've watched get divorced, watched failed marriages. I met one last night. It sucked. I was like, dude, he's like, it lasted a year. I'm like, oh, come on. I can't. It really bothers me. It really disappoints me. And what I think is that, I mean, I'm just beating around the bush. What appears to be the problem is that people expect something that isn't the case. I know me personally, have these fairy tale expectations of, getting married, having kids, having a wonderful life, things flowing well. Obviously, there's going to be some challenges, but everything's going to be amazing, and everything's just going to be great. And I don't see people changing that when they actually do get married. And the stories that I hear about friction are about two people coming together that they're just like, oh, I'm just going to be me here with this person, and I'm going to have fun, and we're just going to do this. And like, they don't change at all when they get into the relationship. And the stories that I hear, I mean, the people that I talk to, divorcees, like, I've gone out with divorced women, I've gone out divorced women with kids. I wouldn't actually marry a divorced woman with like older kids, but I've considered, young kids, because I'm 34. I'm not like, I don't want to wait around. That's the truth.
Right.
And almost every single one, I mean, this might give away this thing that I do. I ask them, I ask divorced women, I ask divorced men, I ask everybody, who is the problem?
Right.
They're always saying, every woman that I dated that was divorced said that, and most of the men, like most of the men said they were the problem, which tells you that nobody is looking at themselves in this scenario. And I think that's really what's going on. I think people expect that it's just like it's easy. You just are yourself with another person, and you just have a relationship, and that's it. And it just gonna, everything's gonna be amazing. And the real truth is that marriage is nothing like that. Marriage is stopping, turning, and realizing that the person across from you is who you're going to need to learn to change and to grow from on a daily basis for the rest of your life. And nobody is talking about that. If you think that way, then you are not so excited to get married. It's not a fairy tale. It's not like, oh, everything's going to be amazing. No, you're actually signing up for a lot of work. A lot of work in terms of kids and money and family and whatever, and a lot of personal work. Like, how am I going to get along with this person and thrive with this person and love this person for the rest of my life? Like, how is this going to work? There's no hiding spot. You can't hide all of your, all your stuff away and put it away and just like, pretend like it's not there and like you're perfect. That's the whole thing with the spouse. There's nowhere to hide. They get into every part of your life. They know you better than anyone. That's my take.
Yeah, no, it's
That's
deep
how it
stuff.
appears to me.
That's why I wanted you on the show. Come with some deep stuff. I feel like you're a guy that can just sit by a fireplace with a glass of wine and just be in your thoughts. Like you actually really think about these things, I feel like, very thoroughly.
Yeah, no, yeah, I do. I like to just go on journeys.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah. Is that something you think I should be covering more?
Going on journeys?
No, not necessarily that, but like just like the divorce. Like I pretty much stick to Shidduchim, but it is a big factor. The divorce rate's insane. People get divorced, and I've heard people are getting married to, you know, potentially are getting pushed too young to get married. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this, but yeah, I think it's in Pirkei Avos. The man should focus on taking care of the woman should focus on taking care of the man. And I think the second you start not caring about the other person is where problems happen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, you see how people think about marriage. They're looking for their person, right? I mean, this is all non-Jewish cultural stuff. This is stuff from American culture. It has nothing to do with our tradition. We people tell me they've married the wrong person. Like there's somebody. I was away this weekend, and there's somebody I know there, a divorced woman that I know there that whatever. I met her in the dating scene, and she told me, like so many other people told me, that she married the wrong person. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but like almost every single one of these girls that tell me that, I tell them that if you go look at the Gemara in I think it's in Nazir Sota. I think it's in Sota. I have to look it up so everybody can hate on me in the comments. But over there, it says clearly what a zivug is, and it says basically what comes out. You go look at the Tosis over there. What comes out is that your first zivug is your like person made for you. They fit you like two gears, like two puzzle pieces meshed together. They fit your personality. You guys flow. You're made for each other. That's what you're looking for. After that, you have 6 more or 7 more zivugim, like depending on merit and different stuff. Like that's where it talks about Kriyas Yamsuf. But if you look at Tosis over there, which I don't think anybody disagrees, pretty much the way it works is that um, you have your zivug, because if the person is not your zivug, you wouldn't be able to marry them, or you wouldn't be able to have kids with them. So
Mm.
basically, if you marry a girl and you begin the process of having a family together, yeah, you live together, that's your zivug. You don't need any more proof than that. People think that, oh, things didn't go well and we had all these problems and intrinsic issues built into our relationship. Guess what? Zivug is not there for you to be comfortable. Some people have a lot of garbage that they're taking from the previous time around, and now you have to deal with it. Like, just assuming that life is supposed to be easy is it's foolish. It's not the case. It's not the case for most people. And so like that whole perspective is what I think is missing. People think that you have a person, it's supposed to flow, everything's supposed to be great, and so long as I do the basics, it'll be great.
Instead of just building a relationship together, knowing there's going to be issues on both sides and it's coming together to kind of work them out.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to come in with like, this is going to be work. And yeah, if people actually realize that it would be work and they realize what they're actually getting themselves into, I think they'll be a lot less excited about it. I think they'll put it on a lot lower pedestal, and people will just be practical. If they want to get married because they want to have a family, okay, good, they'll do it, and move on.
So I got to play devil's advocate here.
Go, rock me.
I gotta ask you about, because we had one of our first episode, I think episode number 8, talks about someone that, when I say a douchebag, his face is under the definition of douchebag. The guy was an absolute fraudster, horrible human being. For whatever
He was
reason,
on the podcast.
the guy wasn't, but the wife was. I mean, they're divorced now, but it's like one of those situations where, unfortunately, you hear about it a lot, where two people get married, and not every situation, or I would say get refuser, is always the guy's fault. It's not always just on the guy, but there are times that it is the guy's is just a abusive piece of trash, and I guess it was the case with this person. So they got married. So where would they fall into this? Like, would you say like they were zivugim, just this guy just went off and is a douche? Like, where do you think Tosfos would play on that?
I mean, they had children together. They lived together for years.
They didn't have children. They did not live together too long. It was about 3 days within the marriage. Someone mentioned that her ring was fake, and then she's like, well, I wonder what else was fake. And then she did a little snooping and realized that he was forging her signature to commit a federal fraud, essentially. So he's basically he's like messed up in the head. I don't know, And so she quickly divorced him afterwards, but he refused to give a get. And then they had a whole situation where she basically was cleaned out, like financially, to get a get. So I'm just curious on like where would you put them?
So, yeah, that's.
I have to play devil's advocate.
No, yeah. That's a terrible story.
It's really horrible.
Terrible story, but yeah, can't imagine that. I can't imagine her experience. 3 days in, to be all of a sudden, ooh, If I want to play this field, I mean, nobody can go up to this person, to this woman, and tell her that everything was meant to be and your suffering is your own doing, or what you deserved, or what you needed, or your tikkun, wherever it is. It's the opposite. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And no one deserves to go through that. And, we all support somebody and care for them in whatever situation. In terms of, you want to know how could such a thing be in terms of the heavenly orders of things? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you have people that you're tragically tied to that in previous times, who knows what the circumstances were. Maybe your family defrauded theirs, you didn't have to deal with it, but you were supposed to be their spouse and you let it happen or whatever. Like, we don't know where these things come from in behind. We do know that, it's not by accident that somebody's able to slip in like that. Usually there's like some kind of red flag that sticks up that this person is not so great, you know? Like, there's like a little bit, you get a sniff, you get a whiff of, who it is you're dealing with, usually. Um, to slip in like that, I mean, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to is you think God runs the world, and if you do, then yeah, bad things also. He's also setting them up. Why is it like that in terms of Zivug? Yeah, I mean, I would assume, I would strongly assume that these people have a long history, and that um, we don't know what the reason is, what happened before, but we hope that things are. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can only deal with the people you have in front of you, and so practically, I would just be a source of support and help for the person that was hurt. Um, does it destroy my belief in Zivik? No. Like, this is the way things are. I mean, there's a great book. I don't know the name of it, so sorry,
Okay,
but
all
there's
good.
a great book. There's a great book. I read a long time ago in yeshiva. I think somebody from Muncie actually made it about near-death experiences in
Okay,
past lives. Anyways, he has a whole thing about it, all the studies, all the whatever. Scientists that try to study it and they're thrown out of the community because scientific community doesn't want to have to do with all this like heebie-jeebie. Anyways, over there he gets into past life regressions
mm,
and goes into all the literature about all the people that did it and documented it, whatever, like different people. One of them was, it was very interesting. One of them was about this therapist connected a couple through past life regression. Like, he was helping this woman, I think, get over her fear of water. And he went back to a point where she literally died by drowning in a flood. And like, that's where it was coming from. And then
wait, wait. I'm sorry. I have to stop you there. I'm sorry. This
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
we're
sorry.
getting
What?
into
She died, but she's talking to a therapist. I'm sorry, I lost you.
past life regressions. So, you ever heard of that? You know what that is?
Not necessarily. No.
No. Okay. So
She in like a
there's,
previous life. You're saying she died in a flood.
yes,
Interesting.
yes, yes. They have like these therapists that like regress you to your childhood. The point is to get you to like, to say out your traumas that will help release the hold that they have on you.
Hmm.
And then there's these therapists, or more than one, I think, who found that they can go even beyond your childhood into something before that. At least this specific one.
Interesting.
Yes. I can find out the book. I just
That's
don't remember it offhand.
This is like a very fringe thing, or like people kind of accept this as like, okay, this is a thing.
Um, I would say this is more fringe, but I wouldn't say that it's more fringe because it has to be. Like, all this kind of stuff, near-death experiences, studies on that sort of thing is something that is a phenomenon that happens, I think, thousands of times a year, and scientists won't touch it. It's not something that they want to touch anything to do with. They
Mm.
like, there's people that have wanted to and have researched it, and they've been like just ignored, ostracized from the scientific community. These sort of topics is not something that modern science will touch, even if you can use the scientific method, even if you can use objective, measuring in terms of whatever it is you can measure. Um,
And why is that?
Modern science, if you ever listen to Peter Thiel, he talked to what's his name recently, and I think he gave the best take on it. He talked to the lady from the Free Press, whatever her
Okay.
name was.
Batsheva?
No,
Or
no,
then
not
that's
Batsheva.
someone else.
Yeah, no, the one, the founder of the Free Press. I forgot her
Okay.
name.
All right. Yeah.
So, anyways, he had a podcast with her, and so he said, like, how can you tell where the state of science is today in terms of like the last 400 years, right? Science has been around since at least Galileo or whatever it was. So, how can you tell where we are? And he gave a bunch of metrics, and basically, um, to be honest, I don't remember the exact take, but it was a good take. He has
Okay.
the best take on it.
All right.
And what came out is that like if you look at like science today, it's far it's very dogmatic. It's very hard to get, like, everything is about being published. Um, and we haven't really advanced much. It's very, very stratified. I mean, that's my impression of it, but I can't give you all
Right.
the reasons why I should believe so. Yes.
So tying it back to Shidduchim.
Tying it back to Shidduchim, from the dead to Shidduchim.
That's right.
Yeah, so that was actually an interesting story of a person who was, like, once they went back into their previous lives, was tied to somebody in Shidduchim. They actually found the person that they married in a previous life. The guy ended up setting them up, and they actually, once they met, they just got along, and they got along together, and they got married and all that. And it turns out those people have done it multiple times. When they regress them, they had multiple memories of being together in different scenarios throughout history. So
Interesting.
now, just throughout the story, who cares? Could we believe it in terms of our tradition of Gilgal? Yes. We have this all day long. You have two different souls that are meant to meet, that are connected in certain ways, and we see them cycle throughout history. Like, you have such a thing as like a Google of Yosef, a Google of Moshe, a Google of Noah, all these things that they just recycle into new situations.
Mm-hmm.
So that sort of concept is something that would probably plays out.
Interesting. So you're saying it's like, did these two people were talking to the same therapist, and the therapist made a shidduch, and you're like, I think you guys were meant to be together, or
Basically, he was much more subtle about it. He set it up that they would meet on some flight. Like, I guess one of them was going to some place, and I guess he
legit,
encouraged
they
them.
actually made a shidduch via this way.
Like, from his therapy thing, he
Yeah.
actually made a shidduch. Yeah,
Oh,
he
that's
did.
so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So you're saying it. So the therapist was you're saying the guy was the therapist?
The what? No, the guy wasn't a therapist. No,
Right.
the
You're saying
therapist was like a third party.
right, and then so he mentioned this, and then the therapist mentioned like she has someone that mentioned the same exact thing. Like they're talking about the two. They're describing each other basically.
No, 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 no,
I'm
no. It
missing
was
something.
yeah. So far as I remember the story, this is from a while ago. So far as I remember this story, it was the woman who the therapist was, going back on, like, bringing back into previous lives, and then they realized that, like, this other person is the person that they keep meeting in previous lives. And so they set it up that this guy would meet her on the next thing she was doing. I think she was taking a flight to somewhere, and the therapist happened to know who the guy was, and just like arranged it without anyone telling anyone, that, just arranged that he would end up on the same flight, and they ended up bumping into each
So
other. And
right, so was she counseling both of them? You're saying, or
I think the therapist was definitely counseling the woman and knew who the man
I knew who
was.
the
I don't know if
man
he was.
was.
Yes,
Interesting.
I don't know if he was also. He might have also been a client. I'm not sure, because it sounds like, she also knew about his. I don't know, his history.
That's a very interesting way of making a shidduch. That's some deep stuff.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. Subtle and.
Honestly, when we started talking on this podcast, I never thought we'd be talking about this. Is a first. I've never heard of this concept. Interesting. Yeah. That I got to look more into that because I don't know.
Yeah, we've gone a little bit into the heebie-jeebies.
But that's what I like about this conversational, wherever the conversation takes you.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think that like it doesn't help a person in the moment, but at the same time, just to know that all the challenges you're facing and all the garbage that you are looking at in your life, the chances are that this has something to do with, who you were in a past life, how things, happened or whatever it is, your ancient history. It just like it makes it a lot simpler. Like let's say you have you have a horrible boss who tortures you every day in and out, right? Day in, day out. Okay. Yeah, it sucks. And yeah, cope with it as well as you can. Like you have no choice, like get out of it, right? Fix your situation, do all those things. But just being able to know that in some previous iteration of history, was I the taskmaster? Was I the Egyptian guy beating the slave? Maybe. You have no idea. And maybe this is just something that's meant to be and to
Out of your control, basically. Story.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So yeah, a lot going on over here. But anything that we haven't covered so far that you'd like to discuss?
I don't know. I think that like that thing with divorce, I think is really, I think tying divorce in with modern difficulties in dating, I think is like the real thing. Because I don't think you've solved everything. If we fix the dating world and everybody is getting married pre-30 and everyone's, having kids and all that, I don't think we fixed anything if, people are just chick-chock getting divorced, 2 to 5 years later and rolling the dice again.
That's a good take. That's for sure a good take. Yeah. Well, anyways, I really sincerely appreciate you coming on the show. I know I'm going to be seeing you later at a barbecue. So we'll probably meet for the first time in person. But I do sincerely appreciate you coming on. If anyone wants to reach out to you, is there any way you can do that? You don't have to give out your personal info if you don't want to, but I'm just giving you the floor.
You could just reach out to Max Landisman.
Reach out to me. Shidduchim ideas. Don't just forward me a resume. But if you want to be in touch, reach out to me and we'll make it happen. But yeah, Shalom's a good guy. Again, appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's real. I
appreciate it. Hope you had a good time.
Real honor.
Honors all mine. Until next time.
All right. Good for Shidduchim.
That's right. You want to extend this Shidduchim? Give your best Shidduchim.
Shidduchim.
There we go. All right. Take care, guys. And remember, everything will always be about Shidduchim. Catch you in the next episode.